Hey, fellow evolvers, Tina here. Welcome back to Evolving with Tina. And if this is your first time tuning in, I'm so glad you're here. This space, it's not about perfection, it's about truth. I'm not showing up because I've mastered it all. I'm showing up because I'm still in it. Still learning, still unlearning, still figuring out how to choose myself, one real, messy, beautiful day at a time. And maybe you are too, because growth isn't some glossy before and after story. It's confusing, it's raw, it's amazing and exhausting, often at the same time. Some days you feel like you're on fire, and other days you're just holding it together with caffeine and hope. But wherever you are on your journey, I want you to know this. You don't have to do it alone. I'm right here with you because this space is for the women who are tired of being pushed aside, the ones who crave more depth, even if they don't really know exactly what that means yet. It's for the women who keep showing up for themselves even when it's hard. And if that's you, you're in the right place. So in today's episode, it's all about something that affects every relationship you have: communication. The kind of communication that creates connection, the kind that builds trust, not tension, that makes you feel safe, seen, and supported, not confused, dismissed, or shut down. Whether you're a parent, a partner, a teacher, a leader, or just a woman trying to express herself without being misunderstood, this episode's for you. Because communication isn't just nice to have, it's everything. It's the difference between closeness and distance, between love and resentment, between someone feeling at ease in your presence or like they have to tippy-toe. And here's the truth. When communication starts to slip, everything else follows. Trust fades, intimacy becomes harder, peace feels like out of reach. So if you've ever struggled to find the words, if you've swallowed your truth hoping someone would just get it, or if you've ever replayed a conversation 100 times in your head, you're not alone. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's get into it. Now listen, communication is at the core of everything. If you want deep relationships, emotionally strong kids, meaningful connections, you need it. And I'm not talking about like the surface level talk. I mean like saying things like that hurt, or I need more from you, or this matters to me without feeling guilt or fear. Because without that level of honesty, connection starts to feel one-sided. People assume, resentment creeps in, and slowly the relationship begins to feel unsafe, even if the love is still there. So if you've ever felt like you were yelling to be heard, holding back to avoid conflict, or just going through the motions with a fake smile, I see you. I've been there too. So let's break this down. We talk every day. We text, we post, we explain, we answer, but real communication, the kind that creates trust, emotional safety, and true connection, that's rare. And that's what we're after here, because communication isn't just something you do, it's something you live through. It's how you show up, it's how you build bridges instead of walls, it's how you make someone feel safe enough to be real with you instead of guarded. But here's the problem. Most of us were never taught what that kind of communication looks like. We were taught to talk, not to connect, to explain, not to express, to avoid conflict, not to work through it. And the result, we end up in relationships where we're constantly misunderstood, or we keep things to ourselves just to keep the peace, or we'll explode because we've been silent for way too long. Here's what real communication actually looks like. Your words match your energy. You say what you mean, not what you think people want to hear. And you're not just waiting to reply, you're actually listening to understand. You're willing to sit in an uncomfortable moment instead of running from it. And let me tell you, this is something I had to learn the hard way. For a really long time, I couldn't get my feelings out without crying. I'd start to speak and boom, tears. And then I'd feel embarrassed like I wasn't being taken seriously. But those tears weren't weakness, they were just my body's way of saying what my voice couldn't. I wasn't being dramatic. I was overwhelmed. I was frustrated, holding in way more than I knew how to process. And I know so many women get this because we've been told our emotions are too much, that we need to calm down, get it together, or say things without being so emotional. But here's what I've learned. The more I allowed myself to speak through the tears, even when my voice cracked, the stronger I became. Not because it stopped being hard, but because I stopped seeing my emotions as a problem. I started seeing them as a gateway to my truth. So if you cry when you're overwhelmed, please just know this. That doesn't make you weak. That just makes you human. You don't have to hold it all together to be taken seriously, okay? You don't have to hide your heart to be heard. You just have to keep showing up, even when it's messy, even when it's emotional, even when it's hard, because that is where the real connection begins. And maybe that's where you are right now. You're still trying to get the words out, still scared your voice might shake, or still hoping someone will really hear you. If so, I see you. I've been you, okay? And I promise it gets easier the more you use your voice for you, not just for everyone else. But here's the truth. Everyone communicates, but not everyone connects. We've all felt the difference, okay? When someone says, I'm fine, but you know damn well they're not. Or when someone says, I love you, but it doesn't feel like they do. When you've said how you feel over and over again and still walk away feeling unheard, that's not communication. That's just literally noise. Real communication is about energy, intention, honesty, and emotional safety. And if your energy is defensive, fearful, or avoidant, people can definitely feel that, no matter how polished your words sound. So let's stop calling it communication if what we're really doing is avoiding the truth. Okay, let's bring it down to earth because this isn't just a nice idea or something that sounds good in a book. This is literally real life. Communication touches everything. It's more than just a soft skill. It's the oxygen your relationships breathe. It's the structure behind how you lead, how you love, and how you connect. It's how you make people feel safe, seen, and understood, including yourself. So let's look at what this actually means in your day-to-day life, okay? So here are 5 powerful ways that communication shows up in the roles you play. 1, in building relationships, okay? It's the core. Communication is the foundation upon which relationships are built, whether it's with your partner, your kids, your coworkers, or your best friend. Clear and honest communication is how we build trust, intimacy, and connection. It's from the deep talks over coffee to late night texts that clear the air. Communication is how we say, I care about you, I see you, and you matter. 2, expressing ideas and emotions. It's how we share our dreams, our boundaries, our fears. Because without the ability to express what we truly feel, we end up pleasing and suppressing. And that disconnection, it starts to eat away at literally everything. 3, conflict resolution. Life is layered with conflict, okay? But conflict isn't the problem. Avoiding it is. And when you don't know how to communicate your heart, your needs, your boundaries, you either explode or disappear. Effective communication is what helps us work through the hard stuff with honesty, grace, and understanding. 4, collaboration and leadership. In the workplace, communication is the difference between chaos and clarity. It's what helps teams thrive, leaders inspire, and people feel valued, not just managed. And honestly, the best leaders aren't the smartest ones sometimes. They're the ones who know how to connect. 5, growth and self-awareness. And let's not forget this, okay? Communication isn't just an outward thing. It's actually inward. It's how you speak to yourself that matters just as much as what you say. Your inner voice, your self-talk, the way you process pain in progress, all of that is communication too. And the more honest you can be with yourself, the more honest you'll be able to be with the world. So, if there's only one thing I hope landed with you today, it's that communication is about honesty and intention, not just words. Listen fully, and learning to navigate this messy, beautiful life with empathy and understanding, that is literally the key. The truth is, how we communicate or don't impacts every part of our life. It's not just about relationships. It's not just about work. It's everywhere, because who you are when you speak is who you are when you lead, when you love, when you parent, when you show up in this world. Okay, so let's just break that down even further. So, communication as a partner. Poor communication creates assumptions. And you know what assumptions do? They turn into resentment. And then you know what resentment does? It turns into disconnection. And before you know it, you're sleeping next to someone who feels like a complete stranger. And the worst part, you can love someone deeply and still feel completely alone in the relationship if you don't feel emotionally safe enough to speak up. But when communication is open, honest, and safe, that's where intimacy begins. Not just the physical kind, but the kind where you can breathe next to someone and feel understood. Communication as a parent becomes your child's inner voice. If they grow up being talked over, dismissed, or shamed for expressing emotions, they learn to bottle things up. They learn to self-abandon, okay? They learn that love is something they have to earn by being quiet and easy. But when they grow up being listened to, even when they're messy, even when they're wrong and they make absolutely no sense, they learn something far more powerful. They learn that their voice matters, that they are safe to feel and share, that they can express themselves without fear of losing your love. As a leader or a teacher, communication is everything. And I don't just mean delegating tasks or giving directions. I mean leading people. Because here's the thing, people don't want perfection from their leaders. They just want honesty, clarity, consistency, and the kind of communication that says, hey, I see you, I value what you're doing, and I've got your back. You can't inspire people you don't connect with, and you can't connect with people you don't listen to. And as a woman evolving through life, your communication reflects how safe you feel with yourself. Are you honest about your needs, or do you minimize them? Do you ask for what you want, or do you wait for someone to offer it first? Do you speak kind to yourself, or do you bully yourself in your own head? Because the relationships you have with your voice is the relationship you have with your worth. And when you learn to speak from a grounded place, not needing to prove anything, not trying to avoid rejection, just being brutally honest, that's when you start attracting relationships, opportunities, and experiences that match who you really are. Communication is literally the ripple. And depending on how you use it, it can either create waves or chaos. And I've been in relationships where I didn't feel like I could say what I really wanted to say, so I just didn't. Or where I did speak up, it wasn't clear, it wasn't calm, and I definitely wasn't coming from a grounded place. And instead of it bringing us closer, it created more tension, more silence, more distance, not because I was a bad communicator, but because I hadn't learned how to communicate without fear. Fear of rejection, fear of confrontation, fear of being misunderstood, and the fear of being told I was way too much. All right, all right. So now that we know the truth, communication isn't just words, it's energy, it's connection, it's clarity, it's how we say, I see you, I respect you, I am showing up fully. But what if you weren't taught how to do that? What if you grew up in a home where communication was either yelling or complete silence? What if your default is people pleasing or shutting down or second guessing everything you want to say? And if that's you, I totally get it. And I want you to know it's not too late to learn a new way. So let's just talk about how to actually start communicating with intention, because this isn't about being perfect. It's about becoming honest with yourself and clear and curious enough to let people see the real you. So here are a few shifts that changed everything for me. One, just pause before you react. This is where intention begins. Whether you're in a heated conversation or just replying to a message, take a breath and ask yourself, what am I actually trying to say here? What do I want them to feel when I say it? Am I speaking from love or from fear? Like literally, that one pause can change the entire outcome of the conversation. Two, speak from I, not from blame. So, this is a big one. Instead of saying, you never listen to me, try, I'm feeling really unheard right now, and I'd love for us to get back on the same page. It's literally a small shift, but it makes a massive difference, because when you lead with you, your truth, your emotions, your experiences, it's less likely to put the other person on defense. It invites understanding instead of triggering like a fight. I know for me in my own marriage, if I lead with you, my husband immediately hears it as he's done something wrong, and his defense goes up. But when I speak from how I feel, it softens the moment. It creates space for connection, not conflict. Three, actually listening. So this is also a big one. Without trying to win the argument, this one's hard, especially when you're feeling hurt, misunderstood, or ready to totally defend yourself. But real communication isn't just about talking. It's about being willing to hear, not to argue, not to interrupt, not to fix, and just to understand. Sometimes the most powerful things you can say is, help me understand how you feel. And then just pause and really listen to what they have to say. I once heard a woman say something that was so simple but so powerful. She said to someone when they were feeling a certain way, she said, do you need me to help you solve this, or do you want me to just listen? That question can change everything, because it shows you care enough to meet someone where they're at, not where you think they should be. And four, stop watering yourself down to keep the peace. This one's for my people pleasers, my over explainers, my I'll just let it go women, okay? There's nothing intentional about playing small so someone else doesn't feel uncomfortable. You are allowed to speak clearly, you're allowed to say no, and you are allowed to ask for what you need without feeling guilty. Because when you abandon your truth just to keep someone around, you abandon yourself. So just remember that. 5, if it's hard to say out loud, just write it down first. There's no shame in needing time to find the right words to say. I've written letters that I've never sent. I've typed notes in my phone to sort through my own thoughts. Even sent voice notes instead of talking in person, because I need space to get it out clearly. So whatever helps you get honest, just do that, okay? Intention in communication means this: you choose honesty over perfection. You choose clarity over chaos. You choose connection over control. And I know it's not easy, but it will change your relationships, I promise you. It will change the way you feel about yourself, and it will attract people who value depth, truth, and real connection. So now that we've gotten the big picture, why communication matters, how it shows up, where it breaks down, and how to start shifting it, let's make it real for you. Let's go inward for just a second. I want you to really sit with this one. If communication is the bridge, what kind of bridge are you building? Is it strong enough to hold honesty, wide enough to hold emotion, safe enough for people you love to meet you in the middle? Because the truth is, so many of us have been walking around with broken bridges, hoping someone will cross over to understand us, but we haven't made it safe enough or clear enough for that connection to even begin. So here's a couple questions that you can ask yourself this week to really reflect on this, okay? So where in my life am I not saying what I really mean? 2, who have I been expecting to just know what I need without me even saying it out loud? Where am I choosing silence to avoid discomfort, even though it's costing me connection? Am I using communication to connect or to control? What's one conversation I've been avoiding because I'm too scared it won't go the way that I want? This isn't about judgment. It's just about awareness, because awareness is where your evolution begins. So I want to leave you with this challenge for this week. Just choose one moment to pause, to check your intention, and to communicate from a place of truth, not fear. Maybe it's just a softer tone in a tough conversation, or maybe it's just saying, "I'm not okay," instead of pretending you are. Maybe it's writing a message that's been sitting heavy on your heart. Whatever it is, do it with intention, okay? Not to be right, not to win, not to avoid, but to connect, because you deserve that kind of clarity, and so do the people who love you. All right, my friends, that's it for today's episode. I know we went super deep. This is probably one of my longest episodes, but I hope it gave you something real to hold on to, because communication isn't just about having the right words. It's about creating the kind of life where honesty, connection, and emotional safety are normal. Not rare, not scary, not something you have to earn. So whether you're a parent, a partner, a leader, a friend, or just someone that's just trying to be honest with themselves, just know this: you don't have to be perfect to be clear. You don't have to have all the answers to be present. You just have to be willing to start showing up as the most honest version of yourself. So if this episode hit home and you want to keep working on your communication, I've created a free guide just for you. It's called 5 Questions to Improve Communication in Any Relationship. And you can download it by clicking the link in the episode descriptions. These questions will help you speak with intention, listen with empathy, and connect on a deeper level starting today. So if this episode touched you, email me at talk@evolvingwithtina.com. I would love to hear your story. And if someone you know needs this message, please send it to her. Let's create more space for real conversations to happen. So until next time, my fellow evolvers, keep evolving, keep glowing, and keep showing up for yourself, because you matter. Much love.